Whoever came up with the idea for scented candle need to have their ass eaten real good. Aiden, and this is the VG Punk channel. Alright, this is not a Nightmare Doll deck profile. You have seen enough of that these past couple of weeks from the tops that has been happening for premium. So we're just gonna ignore that and make a different Pale Moon deck today that focuses on Harri. Specifically the V version of Harri. So as you can see, our starter is also the V starter. You can choose whichever one they want. They all have the same effect of unride, draw a card, and if your opponent is at grade 1, you get a quick shield. I would say this deck prefer going second, but it's more accurate if I would say this deck prefer getting first strike, because that's when I kind of want to beat the opponent. So starting with the trigger, we have 3 of the grade 3 trigger Nightmare Doll Lindy. The fact that she's a workeroi will come in handy, but she is the default heal trigger right now for Pale Moon. Next up, we have 4 of the draw trigger, the PG draw trigger. There isn't any reason for me to run non-draw trigger PG, so then you play 2 more of the draw trigger. I use the one from D format that give me higher shield. And then we have, oh, the card is sticking together, 4 of the Stry crit, where you can ditch this card for Stry. You should get a playset of that for any clan you play in premium. 1 of the Into the Soul, give 10k to your Vanguard and then draw a card crits, and 1 of the over trigger. Now for the over trigger, the reason why I don't play the typical dark state over trigger is because my deck prefer having very big power. So if I drove check this on my Vanguard attack, I can give it to a certain card that also prevent PGing, that also prevent perfect guarding. So I prefer this over the other one. Like, the other one is good too, and if you think that it's better, go ahead and play that, but I do like this one better. And yes, it is less expensive than the other one, even though I have like, what, 3 copy of the other over trigger already. Now into the grade 1, we have 4 Masquerade Bunny. This is to find our Harris and add them to our hand. That's her only purpose, to be honest, but the deck draw relatively good, so but she's just there to help you get Harri if you don't have Harri by grade 2, because if you, the moment you ride into another card for grade 3, your deck kind of fall apart. Now next, the next 2 card is Nightmare Doll Dark Side Mirror Master, and oh, not Nightmare Doll, Magia Doll Dark Side Mirror Master, and Magia Doll Flying Periton. When you guard with them, after they get retired, they move into the soul instead, so soul pumping, I guess. And then both for Mirror Master, her effect is when she's placed by your Vanguard unit with Harri in the name, you get to countercharge 1. And likewise for Flying Periton, except you get to draw a card instead. They're good, but make it sound like it's a bad thing. They're good. You use them to pumped up Starry Pop Dragon. Spoiler, if you don't have the Pigeon or the Starry Pop Dragon, they're there to draw into them and keep you protected until you get those pieces. But they're pretty good because I also run 2 of the Gun and Ram in this deck, so it helped. Soul Charge doesn't really matter since the deck is more of a, I want to get specific card into the soul rather than getting a lot of card into the soul. But they help when I have a lot of soul that basically do nothing for me. Gun and Ram, Soul Blast 3, draw a card. It's pretty useful at the beginning because I just take out the pieces that I don't need and just have the pieces that I do need in there. And then moving on to grade 2, the next 2 card basically fulfills similar job. Nightmare Doll Marissa. On place, on Vanguard rear, put a card from your hand into the soul, look at top 7 and search for a non-grade 2 Workeroy and add them to your hand. Up to 2 non-grade 2 Workeroy and add to your hand. The Magia Doll and the grade 3 Heal Trigger, they're both Workeroy, so I will find one of those 3 cards in the top 7, and if I get 2 of them, that would be great as well. And then Card Dealer Jacqueline is on van or rear. When placed, counterblast 1, look at top 7, up to 2 card that either is a Magia Doll or have Lord Pigeon Pop in the name and add them to my hand. If I reveal 2 card, I put a card from my hand into the soul. Like I say, these 2 search for different thing, but they do the same job basically. Jacqueline search for my Magia Doll or my Pigeon, and Marissa search for Magia Doll or my grade 3 Heal Trigger. So yeah, if your opponent decide to doesn't give you the counterblast by your grade 2 turn, go into Marissa. If they do, then possibly go into Jacqueline. Now we talked about Lord Pigeon Pop, so here he is. I play 4 copy of him because I really want to see him on my grade 3 turn, even on my stride turn as well, especially on my stride turn. My god. His first effect is on place, I may put a Magia Doll from the drop zone into the soul. So early game, if you have Magia Doll in your soul, you can soul blast that out with Gun and Ram to draw a card and then put it back in with Pop if you really need it. And his second effect is at the end of the battle that it attack, if this card is on the stage, which I will explain later, counterblast 1 and return this card back to your hand. Search your deck, soul, or drop zone for a Starry Pop Dragon and call it to the stage. And if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. Now, he is the main card that tutor out our main finisher of the deck. That's it really. He's 9k attacker, most likely 19k or more attacker, and he's just a simple attacker. But he is really good because he search out our finisher. And then our grade 3 is Masked Magician Harri, the V version of it. And his effect is on Vanguard circle, when placed, choose one of your additional rearguard circle, so an Excel gift, and it becomes the stage until the end of that fight. So until the end of this whole game, one Excel marker will be the stage where you stack all your Excel marker on. Like, you don't stop gaining Excel marker, but it all turns into one thing. Like the main attraction of a circus performance. He's the one that create the stage for you. At the moment, there's no other card that creates stage, so you're stuck with him. Not that he's a bad card. He's a very lovely card. And then his second effect, which we try not to use, but sometimes you got to, I guess, is act on Vanguard circle once per turn, counterblast 1, discard a card from hand, call up to 2 cards with Magia Doll in their different card name from your soul to the rearguard circle. They get plus 5k until the end of the turn. If the opponent is grade 3 or greater, you may call up to 4 cards instead of 2. Basically, for this deck, you try not to use that effect as much as possible, because all you got is Darkside Mirror Master and a Flying Periton, which just give you back the resource that you use to activate that effect, which is not a bad thing, but you try not to use that as much as possible because you're saving everything for this guy. This is the star of this deck. He is also the finisher the majority of the time. His effect is, the first effect is continuous on rearguard circle. This unit get plus 5k for each of your rearguard with Magia Doll in their different card name. So at most, he'll be able to gain 10k because you want to have Darkside Mirror Master and Periton in your rearguard circle. So he'll gain 10k off of that. But as you notice, he is a 0 attack rearguard. So he'll get more attack with the other 2 effects as well. When placed on the stage, you'll get another imaginary gift, Excel. So as long as you place that thing on the stage, you get another accel off of that. And then the last effect is when it attacks, if this unit is 40k or more, until the end of that battle, this unit get crit +1, and your opponent cannot call Sentinel from his or her hand to guard. At the end of that battle, retire this unit. So what you do is you literally just play attack with the pigeon, bounce the pigeon back to your hand, and call Starry Pop onto the accel circle, which is a stage, by the time you bring this card out. So Harri, when you ride Harri, you already get 1 stage, and then you'll bring out Starry Pop Dragon, and that will be 2 stage. If you have 2 of the Magia doll, that will be another 10k to that. Oh yeah, I think now is a good time to know which accel you're using. And from saying that, you could probably guess that I am focusing on accel 1 in this deck. Surprise! Yeah, accel 2 is a bit too slow for this deck, so we're gonna go with accel 1. So that's what? Riding Harri, that's 1 accel. And then hopefully you'll know to try to get first stride first, because that's when you really take out your opponent, the majority of your opponent hand. And then Pigeon Pop will go there. Hopefully you better have 2 with as much tutoring I have in this deck. You're hopefully gonna have 2 of the Magia doll on the rear guard. So attack with Pigeon, well, you gotta stride first. Attack with Pigeon, Pigeon bounce back to hand. Search your deck first before anything for filtering to call Starry Pop Dragon, which give you another accel. So 1k, 2k, and then both of these will give Starry Pop Dragon another 3k. So you only need to hit 1 trigger in order to have his effect activated. And believe me, his effect of that 40k, 2 crit, and no PG will take out a lot of your opponent hand. And to make matter worse, let's go into the G zone now. Now I basically just take the G zone from Nightmare Doll and put it into this deck. So these are the G guard that I'm going with a Dismal, 2 of the Furnival, and 1 of the Wandering Dragon. When the Popcorn Chimera come out, somebody is gonna get replaced, or Beatrix and Seabreeze. Seabreeze is probably not gonna get replaced anytime soon, but Beatrix, like I said, I took this from my Nightmare Doll G zone, so Beatrix gonna probably become that 5th G guard. But yeah, the girl that can G guard, so charging 3 isn't good enough, so I choose not to play her. You're gonna play 1 of Fairfield, Parallel Megatrick Fairfield. You'll never go into this card. It's just there for shit and giggles. If you go into this card, that means your opponent did a pretty good job in surviving like two Starry Pop Dragon attack, which at that point they deserve the win, to be honest. I will concede at that point. Now 4 of the Dark Lord Princess, no shit, she is good. She is real good. She basically, you go into her to go into another Magia stride, which is either Masquerade Master Harri or Midair Megatrick Yvette. Yes, I only have 1 Yvette. Sue me. It doesn't really matter if you have only 1 Yvette, because you got 4 princess. That's the more important thing. But most of the time you will go into Yvette. Rarely will you ever go into Harri unless you didn't hit that trigger. You didn't hit a trigger on 3 drive check, to give that power to Starry Pop Dragon. At that point, you will go into Harri and not attack with the dragon to put the dragon back into the soul and call it out again to get you another Excel circle. But yeah, if you play Pale Moon, you should know what all of my Stry does already. But the main one will be Yvette that you go into, because on attack you can put a card from your hand into the soul and turn a G-Zone face up and get an imaginary Excel circle. So you will have 3 Excel circle on stage, so that's 30k to whatever you put there, and then call a card from your soul into the rearguard circle, into the additional rearguard circle, and that unit get 15k plus. And at the end of the battle, put the call unit into your soul. Now, you can either call Starry Pop Dragon if it's in your soul, and there's a good chance that it could be, because for Card Dealer Jacqueline and Nightmare Doll Marissa, they have to put stuff into your soul. And the reason why I play 3 of them, 3 Starry Pop Dragon, even though they does nothing, is so I can shove it into the soul. Easy enough. But if you have it into the soul and you don't have any more counterblast, you can call out a Starry Pop Dragon. But if you do have counterblast, guess what you can call out instead? The pigeon. Because the pigeon get bounced back to your hand by the time you have Yvette onto the field. So you can put the pigeon into the soul from your hand and then call it back out, and it become 1, 2, 3, 39 plus 15k. That's 54. 54k attacker. Your opponent just 1 damage, but it's a pretty big attack. And then bounce it back to your hand to call a Starry Pop Dragon out, and that's a 40, possibly 50k, definitely 50k. 50k attacker with a crit and no PG. And yeah, your opponent had to live through 2 Starry Pop Dragon on your first try in order to have a turn. That's the combo that I went with when I created this deck. But yeah, I'm actually really happy that I found a way to make Harri work, because I love Harri. He's my baby. And Starry Pop Dragon is an amazing card. Yeah, it's a really good card. If you get first try, you probably gonna have a really good chance of winning. But if you don't have first try and you think you can survive the opponent first try, you might also have a good chance in winning. But it's no Mega Colony where it stopped G-guarding. So G-guarding is there. So they'll need like 2 huge, it'll get rid of 2 huge trigger in their hand, if anything, which is pretty good. But yeah, that's all for today. I am actually stacking up a lot of video, most likely deck profile video, in order, because I'm visiting a different country soon, so I need to stack up video and just like schedule them for later, so that way you guys have something when I'm gone. I act like I upload a video every week, which I don't. My bad. But you're gonna see more upload from me from now on, since I finish with schooling. Hoorah, hoorah. But take care of yourself, and I'll be seeing you real soon, my love. Oh, and if you think there's any changes, go ahead and comment them below. If you like the deck, comment them below. It's different from Nightmare Doll. Probably not as powerful and not as flexible as Nightmare Doll, but it's something new from Pale Moon that's not Nightmare Doll. So try it out if you have the card, and I'll be seeing you real soon, my love.